Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, powered by Next Door Photos. I'm Patrick Braddick, owner and publisher of Cincinnati Real Producers.
And I'm Daniel Ziegler, owner of Next Door Photos. Every week, we're getting to know Cincinnati's top realtors.
Our goal is to elevate and inspire the real estate community throughout greater Cincinnati.
All right, well, welcome to a special episode of the Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, where you're going to get to know us, your hosts. So
Scary.
Yeah, could get interesting here.
Yeah.
But Patrick, I thought we'd start with you. Let's get to know you a little bit better.
Uncharted territory. So,
yeah,
man, Cincinnati Real Producers started July of 2018. So we've been around a little over 5 years. We talk about this a lot, but, connecting and elevating the top agents in the markets that we're in is our goal. And that's our common place, and by connecting, not just connecting with other agents, but connecting with the top area affiliates in the market as well. Because those types of people, and you know this as well as anybody, Daniel, that those are the types of people who really can't think of a time where they don't want to be in front of the top agents in every market that we are in. So,
great.
There's a difference between agent number 1 and agent number 1,000, but the same applies for the people that we market to, and it's the service standards are all there. People want to do well for their clients, but they also want to play well in the sandbox with other agents because they know eventually they're going to be working with them again, So having the tools to facilitate those transactions is where we try to help, and
right.
Pushing Next Door Photo or ABC Mortgage or any of these people that we work with, knowing that they're the best in the city is really our goal, and when there's an agent out there who's looking for, another mortgage lender or a title company or somebody like that, then it's our job to make that introduction or let them know, here's 3 mortgage lenders that are incredibly reputable. We're 100% referral based. So everything that we do is off of referral of the top agents. So the real estate agents know that when we talk or we give them, somebody to connect with, it's because their peers in the area work well with those industry professionals.
Right.
And it's a great way for the best of the best to meet the best of the best, and
right.
it's bridging that gap and helping people grow those relationships. So
I think that's key. I mean, connecting people is what it all comes down to in this industry.
Absolutely.
And, people that need to meet each other, and you're that bridge, like you said.
Try to be. I mean, it's an industry that changes. There's headaches for real estate agents now that they didn't have 2 years ago, and there's headaches 2 years ago that they don't have now, so,
right.
It's an ever evolving industry, and I think it's fascinating. But there's needs and concerns that change on a daily basis. So, being able to adapt and move forward is key for anybody to be successful in this industry. So
absolutely. Well, you know how this goes. We got to dive into you. I want to know about Patrick before Real Producers.
How much time you got?
Well, maybe you can give us the
7 more minutes.
The 7-minute version.
Yeah.
Of,
before I don't tell too many people this, and I try to, especially down here, I try to waver away from sports, but I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. My claim to Cincinnati is my dad was born and raised on the west side of Cincinnati.
Okay.
He's an elder grad. I don't know what year. It's way back when. No offense.
Sorry, Dad.
But sorry to throw you under the bus there. But we always came down here to visit my grandmother and cousins and aunt and uncle. And, it's just a beautiful city. And it was an easy transition to come down here for college. Okay. Went to UC. I'm a Bearcat. Love the Bearcats. Honestly, though, wasn't very keen on the city because I never experienced anywhere. I didn't have a car in college. I was pretty much.
So you experienced Clifton.
Yeah, pretty much Clifton.
Yeah.
And, when I was in school, there was a lot of renovating and,
Oh, yeah.
developing and stuff like that. So it wasn't like, it is now at least. And when I thought about graduating and leaving, we'd started looking around the city and I was like, man, this city has so much to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really mad at myself for not taking advantage of more of it when I was in school, because it's beautiful. Like,
Yes.
you cross over during Kentucky, or, you head down to a ball game or something like that. Like we went to an occasional baseball game, but that's, once you go to one game and you get the feel of the stadium, it's,
You're hooked.
yeah. And it's, the tradition with the Reds is beautiful too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, huge baseball city. I love opening day down here. It's so cool to see. But,
Yeah.
so yeah,
you decided to stick around.
So yeah, my wife is born and raised on the east side
Okay.
of Cincinnati, and as everyone knows, if you're from Cincinnati, you don't tend to leave Cincinnati. So we're and once I started experiencing different parts of the city, I really fell in love with Cincinnati. So
Yeah.
totally fine staying, and now we have our family here. And
Did you meet your wife at UC?
Yeah.
Okay.
we met in school. We've been together since 2009.
Same as
like that.
well. We talked about this. I think
Yeah.
we both celebrated 10 years. this
Yeah,
year.
exactly. And
Yeah.
we've been married for 10 years.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we dated, and she comes from a great family. So it was very fortunate for me, and I'd like to think that I come from a great family as well. So hopefully, very fortunate for her as well. And we have 3 kids now: Annabelle, Bennett, and Baylor. And Annabelle's 7, Bennett is 5, and Baylor just turned 10 months old. So, we're
So
kind of
not too much going on.
3
then.
different stages of life. Yeah, that are really cool though. Like
Yeah.
listening to some of the people that we have on the podcast talk about their why and their family being the main, and that should be it for everybody. And that's mine.
Yeah.
Being able to help provide for them and raise them in a world that we think is going to be safe and functional and fun. We want them
Right.
to have as much fun as they can. So
Yeah.
it's been good. And so in college, I transitioned from working at the bookstore after the UC bookstore. Man, I was loss prevention back then.
Okay.
It was fun. And I wanted to stay down here for the summer, so I had to get a summer job, and I started working in retail. So little company, Costco Wholesale.
Oh yeah.
Took off with
I've heard of
them for like 15 years, man, and
Wow.
got into management and stuff like that. And just retail. I respect anybody who works in retail, especially everybody that I know at Costco. It's not easy. It's not easy to be in retail, knowing that your hours change, your day offs change,
Right.
everything changes. So this is and then like your holidays are always working.
Mhm.
So there was a lot that you have to sacrifice to be in retail. So I have a lot of respect for anybody who's in that world, and I get it. I get it. And it was probably a little too hard for me because it started putting a stress on the marriage and the family, and
Right.
not being around for holidays and birthdays, and that's all stuff that I want to be around for. So a colleague up in Columbus asked about if I was interested in a change, and they brought up Real Producers, and I'm like, I don't have any real estate experience, and they're like, that's great.
Oh, perfect.
We actually love that because we want to train you and give you an idea of what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So one day I walked into the house and told my wife that I'd left my job and I'm starting Real Producers, and she's like, well, that's awesome. How much money are you making? And I'm like, nothing.
Uh-oh.
And we were pregnant with my son at the time. And
Yeah.
I remember the facial expression that she made was just
Yeah.
pure scared.
Just like terror.
Yeah, it was terror, and it was
Uh-huh.
it was awesome. And so then we got this off the ground, man, and it's been fun ever since. So
That's fantastic.
I like to think that we're the only ones out there doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We started with one location, and we're in over 120 locations now
That's
across
incredible.
the country.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole premise of thanking and honoring the top agents in every market is truly our goal. Like, there's nothing you have to pay for as a real estate agent to be, you know, associated with our publication. And I think that because we're so exclusive to the top tier agents, it's a great way to say thank you to them for their hard work, you know, and
you're honoring them.
Being the first ones to be able to do that, it's, you know, it took a lot to start this. It took a lot of no's and, you know, clicks and hang-ups and stuff like that. But once you start to build your, you know, what you're doing and people understand what you're doing, they start to answer more, you know, and it's been very fortunate for our platform to be able to help market the best agents in the area and also build some serious friendships from it too. Like, there are so many cool people in real estate in Cincinnati, and
got that right.
Being able to piggyback off of them and learn from them and help them, or any of that, you know, it's, you know, there's like, I tell people all the time, like Tom Capuano, he's the owner of Pillar to Post here in Cincinnati, and I've learned so much from him that it's beyond measure. And he's been such a mentor to me, because of what he's gone through over the last 25 years of owning his business. You know? And
that's
you
so
know,
cool.
We're all in the business of, you know, building and growing and providing for our families and stuff like that. But he's really done it the right way. He's one of the smartest business minds I know in this area, and I've referred people just to talk to him.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, I would love for you to use his inspection company. They're great. But you should know Tom too. Like, he is a great guy, and he knows a lot about just business in general. So it's been such a cool experience over these last 5 years to be able to meet and grow with all these businesses. So
yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So 5 years in, what's your next 5 years look like?
Keep going, keep growing. We've got some things on the horizon. You know, obviously we have events. We've added more events this year. We have, you know, smaller events where we feature the people that have been in the publication and some of our partners. And then we have our larger events where we invite all of our partners and all of the agents in the area to network and grow. And, you know, listening to the people talk that we've featured on this podcast, growing and networking is so key. And being able to brand in Real Producers from our standpoint, and then get face to face with some of the top real estate agents in the market has been a benefit to the businesses that we work with, you know. And it's the combination of everything that we do that helps people grow. And I think that consistency is key. So being able, you know, we listen to our clients. So, you know, I think a great way for anybody to grow is, you know, the old adage of two heads are better than one, you know? So listening to feedback and not taking it, you know, not taking constructive criticism personally, and learning from it. And that's why we've added events, you know, that's why we've added more, because we want to give more exposure to our partners for providing this to the top agents of the market, you know.
More
but then also
to make those connections.
Exactly. But then also add the realtors to build more connections with other realtors. You know, there's nobody in this business who's successful who has built it by, you know, stepping all over other real estate agents.
Or being isolated.
Yeah. They've built great relationships with top agents, knowing that when that paperwork comes across their desk, they know it's going to be a smooth transaction. You know, why not build with more of those like-minded individuals? You know, it makes everybody's life easier. So
for sure,
that's our goal. And
but I'm excited about this podcast to be a part of that as well. Like, and that's why we want to get to know agents more personally. That's the whole point of this podcast, is so that you can continue to build and foster those relationships and connections.
Yeah, I mean, because you never know when somebody's going to need something too, you know. And it's a long game, because we all want to be in the business for as long as we can be, you know. So growing a relationship over the course of months and years is going to be stronger than just trying to send an email and get business, you know. So being able to stay on top of the top agents, and then for me, being able to get in front of people that I haven't talked to in a few years, you know, like Some of the agents that we featured, I talked to a lot. Some of them, it's been a little while. Some of them I didn't even know.
Right.
You know, like Cindy Shetterly, I didn't know her until we started this.
Yeah.
So now, getting to know her and her story, it was amazing to be able to sit there and be like, hey, we need to put you on our cover because you deserve it.
Yeah.
And you're running a thriving business. So, and she does deserve it, though. I mean,
she's incredible.
But it opens other avenues for everybody. And I think being able to help market the top agents in another way and combining our publication with social media is the best way to market. So, and that's statistically true. Our national publishers found that, tangible, physical paper magazines combined with a social media presence is the best way to be able to market yourself. So, there's still people out there that want to open a magazine and read it. And why not read about the best real estate agents in the industry to be able to sit there and take a tool off their belt and add it to yours?
Absolutely.
And maybe something about that person to where you meet them and it's such a coincidence that you guys both like to play chess or play tennis or whatever. And, it makes that introduction that much easier, So,
absolutely.
But yeah, it's been fun, man. It's been a blast. It's, we're going to continue to grow. We got a few things in the works that we're not willing to or wanting to unveil just yet, but
I'm excited.
It should be fun, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick, I love what you're doing, and so much so that I'm,
you're one of our partners, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
So, and this podcast isn't possible without Next Door Photos. So, the collaboration has been awesome over the beginning of this, and hopes that we can continue to provide to the best agents in the city. So.
Right. Elevate and inspire. That's what
there it is, man.
Yeah.
Love it. So let's flip the script, man. Enough about me. I hate talking about myself. And I think that's why I love this job, because it forces me to just be able to talk about other people more. So, Next Door Photo, man. How long you been doing it? How'd you get into it? We've been partners now for about a half a year, coming up on a half a year or a few months now. And, it's been great, dude. You got a great reputation around town.
Appreciate that.
You're super motivated to stay in front of agents. You're out there. You're participating with the board. You're doing different things. Where did you come from, and how did you land into this position, man?
Man, it's depends on how long you got. I'll try to do the concise version.
There you go.
So it's funny how many similarities you and I have, actually. Both UC grads. I graduated in 2013 with an industrial design degree, actually. So
nice.
My dream was, I'm a car guy. I was always dreaming about designing cars. So that's what I went to school for.
No kidding.
It's a really small, pretty elite program, actually, at UC, but it's a very tight-knit industry, very, very competitive industry. And so when I graduated, I had some internships and things that I'd done. And at the end of the day, between the fact that, it was so competitive, combine that with the fact that it wasn't quite what I thought I wanted, that it would be.
Sure.
And so, I graduated and thought, okay, well, crap, I just spent 5 years getting a degree that I don't think I want to use. But what's interesting about that is, UC has such a great co-op program, doing internships basically. And so through some of those internships, I got some great other experiences that I was able to draw on. And really key there was graphic design experience.
That's awesome.
So I got to do a lot of graphic design, which, a lot of the same principles that I use in industrial design applied. So anyways, being able to get that experience now as building a portfolio of graphic design, wasn't sure why, that's not what I was supposed to be doing,
sure.
But I got that experience. And, basically when I graduated, then I was looking for what next. And Back to Back Ministries, which, as you know, we use their studio here, was looking to hire a graphic designer. And so I applied. I thought, well, I'll check it out. And, my church had been very involved with Back to Back, taking a number of mission trips. And so I was already familiar with Back to Back and thought, well, let's check this out. And gosh, what an amazing decision. Back to Back is first and foremost just a phenomenal organization. It's based obviously here in Cincinnati. We're in Mason. And so I came on board as a graphic designer with Back-to-Back Ministries and kind of got some experience in a whole variety of marketing skills and tasks. So I ended up kind of managing Back-to-Back's website and doing a lot of email marketing, kind of evolved into this digital marketing space that I was operating in here. I did that for 6 years. As part of that, I also got to do a lot of travel. So Back-to-Back is an international nonprofit. Got to travel to, a number of different countries: India, Haiti, Mexico, Nigeria. I was all over the place, and I was getting to do photography and video work. And I found that I really love that. And so after about 6 years of working with Back-to-Back here, just great 6 years of my life, kind of got to this point where, we had started our family, my wife and I, and we were, really one of our goals for my wife was for her to be able to stay home with our kids more, especially in their younger years, before they go off to school. And we had a great support system. We had, grandparents helping out, but it was just one of those things where she wanted to be there more. Mm-hmm. And I wanted that for her. And so really looking for another opportunity to where I could make up for her salary. She had a great job. She's an accountant at Anthem. And so she was, really the primary breadwinner. So I was like, how are we going to make up? This is a big gap. But I also had this drive in me from a young age to be an entrepreneur. I just love the idea of owning my own business and kind of in that whole journey. And I became aware of this company called Nextdoor Photos through a podcast, actually, which is
very cool.
Part of my love of podcasts is it had a big impact on my life. But a buddy of mine had his own podcast here in Cincinnati and had a guest on his podcast from Nextdoor Photos. And Nextdoor Photos is kind of this national and really international company, but every one of the locations is locally owned. And so obviously I'm the owner here. And Nextdoor Photos was on that podcast because they're looking for more owners, more people to start their own real estate photography businesses in other locations where they weren't already operating. So I heard this podcast and I was instantly hooked because it combined my love and interest in being an entrepreneur, owning my own business, with my passion for helping vulnerable populations. So Back-to-Back, what I loved about my job here, and I say here because we're in their studio, was being a voice for orphan and vulnerable children through the work that I was doing. I love being able to help that vulnerable population. And so feeling just this deep connection that my work was having an impact that was so far beyond myself.
That's awesome.
And what I loved when I heard this podcast, Aaron Mason was on the podcast and he was talking about the editing team. And basically our editing team at Nextdoor Photos is made up of individuals who they're in other parts of the world. My team is primarily in Nairobi, Kenya. But they're people who are either at severe risk of being trafficked, and in some cases they're rescued from human trafficking.
Wow.
And this idea that this business that we're operating in Cincinnati, Ohio, can provide really good jobs, really good paying jobs that are transforming lives and lives that, other lives generationally that go down the line. That really drew me in.
Sure.
So it was this perfect connection of entrepreneur with making a difference in the world. And I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
That's really cool, man.
But the timing of it, so you ask how long I've been in it. So the timing was interesting. I was like ready to pull the trigger February 2020, which, as everyone knows,
great timing.
Everybody can kind of remember where they were at that time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, that timing was kind of weird. And so, I was ready to pull the trigger, and then all the shutdowns happened. And so I kind of waited for a few more months until June of 2020. I was kind of feeling it out. And of course, gosh, the real estate market was going gangbusters. So I thought, well, this is kind of a crazy time, but it seems to be a good time to get into the industry. Yeah. So I pulled the trigger and launched Nextdoor Photos Cincinnati in June of 2020.
Man, now you're in Louisville.
Yeah, so we've expanded. So, each location is locally owned, and I'm fairly local to Louisville. I live in Northern Kentucky, and then Dayton is, pretty local as well. And part of the reason for Dayton was there's just so much crossover.
Oh gosh.
It's almost like one metro area. And so we wanted to be able to serve our clients who operate in both by opening a Dayton location as well.
Smart. It really is. I mean, I can't think of how many agents do work or do business in both.
Yeah.
And especially in this Mason to Springboro range, it's there's so much overlap.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's awesome, man. That's good. So we're how many kids do you have?
Yep. So another similarity. I've got 3 kids.
Nice.
Yep. My oldest is about to turn 6. So by the time this airs, he'll be 6.
Nice.
And then my middle is 3, and then my youngest is 1. Just turned 1.
Man,
so.
Pretty similar. That's wild. Gosh, it's a crazy house, isn't it, man?
Oh, you're telling me.
It's wild.
Yeah. My middle child, I'm telling you, it's always the middle, right? Or the second born, whichever. He's a lot of fun, but man, he's giving us a run for our money.
Is he?
Yeah.
Gosh, all my kids give me a run for the money. It's just crazy.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So is there any interest, or is there any inspiration or aspirations of expanding? Like Lexington or anything like that?
Yeah, we're looking at Lexington. I'm not sure on timing. Originally, I'd planned to launch Lexington and Louisville this past year. And with the market the way it's been, we kind of pulled back on that and just did Louisville.
Sure.
But I'd love to launch Lexington in 2024 and potentially Columbus as well, actually.
Oh, wow. That'd be huge.
Yeah, we're trying to get statewide coverage for Ohio.
Oh, wow.
So we have a location already operating with another owner up in Northwest Ohio, like Toledo area. Next Door Photos started in Michigan. So Michigan's totally covered and is kind of creeping down into Northwest Ohio. Mm-hmm. We'd love to have statewide coverage in Ohio. So the owner of that location is looking to expand to Cleveland. And then we're, trying to fill in the gap there with Dayton and Columbus as well.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's a lot to figure out still. Part of the biggest, I think one of the keys to success for Next Door Photos is this local presence and local feel, because there are big, national and regional companies that you just don't feel connected with.
Sure.
And that's something that we cannot sacrifice on. So we have to figure out how to adjust our model so that I can't be in Columbus every day. Right. So we've got to figure out who is that local connection.
Sure.
Even if I'm the owner, we've got to have somebody there that is, the go-to contact.
Running the day-to-day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the part we got to figure out.
That's great. Well, not to segue off of that, but you mentioned human trafficking and supporting, out in Kenya and stuff like that. And my national publisher donates a percentage of every ad that we sell to fight human trafficking.
That's awesome.
So they've, what is it? I think it's Love Justice. I'm trying to think of a few others that they work really, really closely with. Been able to really save a lot of lives, man. And hearing some of the stories and stuff like that, you'll go to a conference and it'll be like, hey, Danny saved 35 people from being trafficked this year. You know, like, it's kind of cool to hear that. It's kind of awesome. It's cool that you're indirectly but directly affecting somebody's life. So.
Right. Well, and all of our clients are too. I think that's what's fun, and we don't go around touting that story to everyone, because at the end of the day, I don't want to use that story and use those people's lives for my own gain in growing our business. So I'd never lead with that, but it's something that I get to invite our clients into, to say, you get to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So like, after you've already worked with us and you love working with us, hey, guess what?
Well, I almost think I think it's more credibility to the culture that you've created. Like, I'm not looking to sell anybody an ad just so that we can donate to fight human trafficking. So that's not part of any sales presentation or anything like that. But when you can sit back and say, hey, your money isn't just going to support the top real estate agents. We're actually making a change and creating positive change throughout the world. That tends to hit home a little bit more.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to be a part of that?
Yeah, exactly. And it's, obviously the goal is to help grow relationships with real estate agents. But when you can, save money, provide for your family, but ultimately give back to your community, I think that's the true definition of wealth. So. Oh yeah, 100%. That's kind of why I love this publishing company. So
yeah.
And they're great owners, and it's been great, man. And so it's good to know that there's other wonderful industry, professionals out there trying to, make a change or help provide if they can,
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's why I am where I am. I kind of spent some time like doing a deep dive on my life and thinking through like just trying to connect the dots, because I've had some crazy experiences going from like wanting to design cars to working in a nonprofit to owning a real estate photography company, and just kind of found that the common thread through my life is, as I mentioned, like helping vulnerable people. Like I just have a heart for that and want to make my life's work.
It's awesome
about that and making a difference. So.
Good.
Yeah.
One house at a time.
One house at a time. One listing at a time. Everyone makes a difference.
That's right, man. Yep. Good for you. Well, it's a little bit of getting to know the hosts of the Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast. So.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, man. On to the next, right?
That's right.
Let's keep riding it.